Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Transport Diecast Racing. I'm your host, JT. Thank you for joining us today at Angel's Crest Highway for Round 1, Part 2 of the Diecast International Race Series 2021. This is the second ever DIRS tournament, now featuring 32 cars that will be racing at 8 tracks in 2 countries. We received 63 entries from around the world, but only the fastest 32 qualified. Today, we'll be racing groups 3 and 4. And just as a reminder, the cars start here at TDR in California. Then they travel to Monster Motorsports in Colorado. From there, they go to RTR Diecast Racing League in Alabama. Then on to Jackson Pass Speedway in Pennsylvania. Then after a short drive to We Race Diecast in Maryland, they travel to Live Young Diecast in Texas. And then after their last stop in the US at Flat Rabbit Racing Club in Illinois, our drivers will fly across the Pacific Ocean to their final destination at Chaos Canyon in New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to start Round 1, Part 2, featuring groups 3 and 4. Now let's take a look at who's racing first. Our first driver is Eli Storm of We Race Diecast, driving in Eat It. Eat It is a 69 Mustang Boss 302 weighing 49.73 grams. He qualified 5th with a time of 15.361 seconds. Next up is Big Al of Big Al's Customs. He's driving a Ford GT90 that weighs 48.82 grams. He qualified for 6th with a time of 15.605 seconds. Then we have Nick Devers of ND Racing driving in Marauder. Marauder is a 92 Ford Mustang that weighs 48.18 grams. He qualified 25th with a time of 16.961 seconds. Then our last driver of Group 3, Mike Mays of RTR Diecast Racing League. He's driving a Jaguar XJ220 weighing in at 46.37 grams. He qualified 26th with a time of 16.990. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to race. In the front row, we have Eli Storm and Big Al. In the back, Nick Devers and Mike Mays. Eli Storm jumps out ahead, but Big Al pulls him back in before Eli breaks free. Devers also pulling out in front of Big Al. Those two are now out in front, but Eli slides out. Devers tries to push his way through, but Mike Mays makes a pass from the outside, going from 4th to 1st place. And he takes the win. Eli comes in 2nd, Big Al in 3rd, and Nick Devers has DNF'd at the first Sizzler curve. Here we see Eli sliding out, and Nick Devers tries to push through with no success. Mike Mays, coming from out of nowhere, slides by Big Al and passes Devers and Eli from the outside lane. That was a good job by Mike Mays, seeing the mess that was ahead of him and making the necessary adjustments to get the pass. Oh, and it looks like Mike Mays was the reason Devers DNF'd there, as he bumps Devers off of the track. And one more look at that pass. That was smooth. Great driving from Mike Mays in that XJ220. Oh, and we have another closer look. Still amazes me. Wow. Alright, next race, we rotate the drivers clockwise. We now have Devers and Eli Storm in front, with Mike Mays and Big Al in the back. Let's see if Devers can take this first place finish to even out the scores a little bit. But Eli Storm jumps out ahead again. Devers right next to him this time. And those two separate themselves from the pack yet again. This time Eli does a lot better. Really clean lap from Eli. This should be a 15-second time. And it is, with a 15.599 finish. And Devers, wow. He crossed the finish line the last 30 feet of the track, actually, on the wall. And we have 2 DNFs for Big Al and Mike Mays. Taking a look at the replay here. Let's see what happened to those two. It looks like Mike Mays got on the wall himself, but was not able to get back off. And Big Al just drifted out. Disappointing finish from both of them. All right, we rotate again. Now we have Mike Mays in front with Nick Devers, and Big Al is in the back with Eli Storm. Big Al and Nick Devers pretty far behind with only 2 and 3 points, while Eli Storm is ahead with 8 points. And Mike Mays takes the lead. This is a closer race this time. Eli Storm taps into Big Al and loses a lot of speed, a lot of competitive racing here. Devers gets messy and he gets pushed by Big Al, but he still takes second place. Oh, and we have Eli Storm with the last minute pass of Big Al as he collects 2 points for finishing in third. That was a great run by Mike Mays as he now jumps into the lead. Actually, I think he's tied with Eli Storm now. And there goes that love tap by Eli Storm that sets him back 2 or 3 bus lengths. It looked like Devers tried to go wide there before Big Al just plows right into him. But luckily for Devers, he was able to block and keep second place. And then Eli Storm coming out of nowhere to steal third place. Now for the last lap, Big Al's in front with Mike Mays. And then we have Eli Storm and Nick Devers in the back row. Big Al really needs to take this win. And he jumps out ahead of Mike Mays. And it looks like, oh, yep, Eli Storm does this. Oh, wow, what a mess. 2 180s there. But they're both still ahead. Big Al does a 180 to correct himself on the jump, but he gets passed by everyone. Eli now in first, followed by Mike Mays. Can he make the pass? No. Eli Storm finishing first. Mike Mays, Nick Devers, and somehow Big Al gets the finish to collect that final point. No idea why he did that 180 there. Might have been the short wheelbase. But Eli Storm also does a 180 as he gets pushed from behind by Mike Mays. Looks like Big Al spun a little too far there as he tried to correct himself. So our results for Group 3, Eli Storm finishes in first with 15 points, followed by Mike Mays with 13, then Devers with 8 points, and Big Al takes last with 4 points. Next up, we have Group 4. First up is Rubber Toe of Monster Motorsports, driving in Gypsy. Gypsy is a Jaguar XJ220 weighing in at 44.60 grams. He qualified 7th with a time of 15.690. Next is Big Romy of Rivera Racing. He's driving a 98 Subaru Impreza 22B STI, weighing in at 50.41 grams. He qualified 8th with a time of 15.762 seconds. Our third driver is Todd Owen of Todd's Tofu, driving in a Renault Sport RS, weighing in at 36.32 grams. He qualified 23rd with a time of 16.903 seconds. And the last driver, Steve Stevenson of Chaos Canyon in New Zealand, driving in Lemon, Lime, and Bitters. That's an 86 Monte Carlo SS weighing 42.97 grams, qualifying 24th at 16.920. Now for race 1, we have Rubber Toe and Big Romy starting in the front row, and Todd Owen and Steve Stevenson starting in the back. Rubber Toe is the favorite for this group, and he jumps out to the lead, but Big Romy pulls ahead, and then Rubber Toe steals the lead back from him as they enter the open track. Big Romy now sliding out as he tries to block Steve Stevenson from passing. Rubber Toe all alone out in front. Looks like this will be an easy win for him as he finishes with a 17.093, followed by Steve Stevenson and then Todd Owen. And it looks like Big Romy has stalled out on that final crash curve. Let's see how that happened. Rubber Toe ignores his brakes as he's able to pull back ahead past Big Romy there. Todd Owen pretty far behind, but Big Romy tries to prevent Steve Stevenson from passing, loses too much speed as he blocks for too long, and it looks like that Monte Carlo was able to push the Subaru out of the way before he gets caught on the rail there. Luckily for Todd, he's able to get around and take third place, securing 2 points. We rotate positions for race 2. Todd Owen now takes the front with Rubber Toe as Steve Stevenson and Big Romy take the back. Rubber Toe makes the pass under the crossover, and he will enter the open track in first, followed by Big Romy. A lot of contact as Stevenson goes for the pass from the inside, and he gets it. A few more collisions on the way, but a clean finish from everybody as they finish in those same positions, with Stevenson taking an extra point. Our drivers came through clean here before there was a crap show on the back straight, with a lot of collisions, a lot of pinballing, and a lot of speed changes, giving Stevenson the opportunity to make his pass right there from the inside lane. Rubber Toe now with a comfortable lead at 10 points. We have Stevenson and Todd Owen starting in front, Big Romy and Rubber Toe starting in back. That Renault really needs a win here. He's falling behind pretty far, but things are not looking good for him as Stevenson and Big Romy take over the lead. Stevenson with a beautiful run right now, but he gets a little sloppy on the jump. Big Romy goes for the pass, but he does not get it as Stevenson is able to block. Now there's a whole cluster, which leads to a boring finish as everybody stays in their positions. Stevenson takes first, Romy takes second, Owen in third, and Rubber Toe in last. It looks like this would have been Stevenson's best run if not for that 180, which probably added a few seconds to his time, I'm sure. Looks like Rubber Toe goes for the pass here, but is blocked by Owen. And then that pileup prevents any other lead changes. Now for our final race, Big Romy starts in front with Steve Stevenson, and Rubber Toe and Todd Owen are behind. Rubber Toe with a 1-point lead over Stevenson, who has a 4-point lead over Romy. But Romy's got his foot on the gas as he's way ahead of the pack right now. A sloppy turn brings Rubber Toe back into the picture as he's pressuring Big Romy. Stevenson right behind them as well. But a mistake from Rubber Toe slows him and Stevenson down, giving Romy an easy win and a much-needed 5 points. Rubber Toe takes second, Stevenson third, Todd Owen takes last. Romy's drift there slowed him and Rubber Toe down, giving Stevenson a chance to catch up. But unfortunately for Stevenson, Rubber Toe decides that they should just let Romy finish in first. Romy does not waste that opportunity as he finishes cleanly and secures his first place finish and his 5 points. Now let's take a look at the scores. Rubber Toe finishes in first with 14 points. Stevenson in second with 12. Big Romy with a big comeback, finishing with 11 points. And Todd Owen finishes with 6 points. That's it for today. Here are your standings for groups 1 through 4. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.